What's up, you guys? This is For the Femmes, and today Shay is kind of in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat, and I have the most anxiety, you guys. I think Faithlin knows I'm not one to talk about my emotions or some of the hard things I've gone through, so
yeah,
we're going for it tonight.
Honestly, but that's why I felt like it would be perfect, because I think obviously you guys see she's so beautiful, she's so tall, she's got cool businesses and stuff, and it's like objectively you're a very intimidating and more often than not super like vulnerable. Yeah. And so I think people will really relate to you more once you open up. And
I hope so. I hope.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's natural. Vulnerability creates connection. Yeah. So we have our Starbucks.
Print that on a shirt.
Yeah. We have our Starbucks. We took our shoes off. We're just getting real comfortable for this. And
cozy.
I also just want to add a trigger warning to this episode. We're going to be talking about eating disorders and getting down to the nitty gritty. So if that's something that you are still healing from, and this might not be great, maybe just check back in at the end of the episode when we talk about some fun, little lighthearted stuff about our week if you want. But
yeah. And I just want to let you know, like, I am not a doctor. I am not certified in.
We know.
Oh, you guys didn't know that was another one of my jobs? I'm a fucking doctor. I'm not a therapist. This is just my personal experience of what I went through for a few years, for like over 8 years. Mm-hmm. So once again, this is just my personal experience. Everyone, especially with eating disorders, is so different. And everyone, the way they handle it, went through it, all their stories can be similar, also different. So just note that.
So I think my first question is, what is an eating disorder?
Well,
or for you, again, this is all personal
for me.
My
eating disorder started when I was 16, and it was bulimia.
Okay.
And that went on till I was 24. But throughout that, I would also say, for me with bulimia, also came restricting. So when I couldn't binge and purge, I would kind of restrict. So I'd be eating maybe like celery sticks and ranch the day, like throughout the whole day, or like a coffee, like just something like maybe, I think I was having probably under like 300 calories a day. It's kind of crazy how your body can work and live off of. But so that was what I struggled with in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Was
what age? Like when you were 16, or?
I started when I was 16. I saw someone close to me, how it kind of changed their body. And I was at that point really insecure and just going through a lot of mental things. I just didn't feel great about myself. And my first instinct was
a hard time.
Yeah. I was like, oh, get skinny. Cause I wasn't, then I played basketball. So I was a little bit more muscular and like had a little bit more meat on my body. So that's kind of how I started and figured out that like, oh, bulimia can like make you look skinnier in a sense, which actually it doesn't. I was more bloated and no, really, I was so
good information.
Yeah. I think sometimes you think with bulimia that you'll like always get skinnier, but honestly, like it bloated me. Like my lower stomach was such a big pooch because it was so like inflamed, and then a lot of things like my neck and like here was like kind of like chipmunky, and it's so funny, you look like back on it and you don't realize it, and I look back on pictures, I'm like, oh my god, it was so obvious.
Yeah. I also think it was hard because you were raised in a time where if a woman was a size 4, she was fat, she was overweight, and like magazines were a thing. And like that is what was being shown to us. Like any beautiful celebrity who was like looked normal and healthy, like they were deemed as fat unless you. So I think like so many people who grew up around the time that you did, I've seen it too, like do really struggle. Do you think that impacted you, or was it a personal?
100%. I think it was hand in hand, honestly. I think, like you said, it was like a time where like the Victoria's Secret angels were like a thing, and like you just wanted that body. And to me, that is what I perceived as beautiful, and that what people would want me to look like and what I wanted to look like. So I kind of went to any length that I wanted to get there.
Let's go deeper than that though. Why did you want to look like that?
You know what? It's funny. I feel like for the longest time I was trying to search for a one pinpoint reason why I started what I did. And I kind of don't have just one. It's kind of a bunch together, but I wanted to look like that because I felt if I looked like that, I would be wanted and my life would automatically be happier if people wanted to be around me. People thought I was pretty. Like, it was almost like that high we always talk about you want from people. So 100%. I think that's what like kind of drove me in the beginning. And then it went downhill when it became like uncontrollable.
And that it sounds like what you're saying is your idea and your goal to be skinny, quote unquote, or to lose weight was going to equate to your worth as a human.
Exactly.
And where do you, or I guess that was just an idea that you adopted and like taught yourself. Why do you think that?
It's kind of hard to say. I you know, like I had a great childhood and like a great friends around me, but I just feel like for some reason I was always different than my friends. I didn't look like them. I wasn't dating anyone. I wasn't getting the attention they were getting. And then as soon as you start to lose weight, I always say you never get compliments when you gain weight. You always start to get compliments when, wow, you look so great. Like, did you lose weight? Like, and you feed off of that. So I think as soon as I started getting that attention, I fell so deep into that trap.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unfortunately, I think more often than not that can be real. I also want to say I don't think I've ever struggled with disordered eating. So I'm coming from a place of like not knowing or maybe unintentionally being like a bit out of touch. So
no, but that's
I apologize
why
if any of like
the
questions are.
And I really love that because I feel like even like my parents and stuff, like a lot of people I don't think can understand unless you're in it. But
they're like, why? Like, why are you know?
Exactly. Just like go eat, do this. And so like I love kind of also, especially when I'm like close to the person talking to someone that doesn't really understand or have gone through it. Cause I think it's just it kind of opens them up to like how it happens.
Right. What kind of eating disorder would you say you like kind of like have right now that you're healing?
So I think one thing people need to realize about an eating disorder, like I don't think you will you'll never like fully get over it.
Yeah.
I think it's something so mental that you'll kind of always struggle with it. In a sense, it's an addiction, I like to say. And like maybe with drugs and stuff, but you can get away from that. Like you have to think about with food, like you need it for your body to survive. You need it, it's everywhere. You have to eat it 3 times a day. Like, so I think it's something like, honestly, I still can think about a lot. And I think that's something I really struggle with. Luckily, I'm not bulimic anymore and I don't restrict, but I definitely think I can still, you know, fall in patterns and disordered eating. And like disordered eatings can be something as stupid as, you know, I ate so much last night, I'm gonna like skip a few meals like the next day, or like juice cleanses or things like that. Like I feel like sometimes there's such a thin line between disordered eating that people might not even pick up on that they have some of those tendencies. It's just like kind of like life, like all these diets and fads and
those can definitely get you into traps for sure.
So I would say that's one thing I think I can still struggle with. It's just kind of like the mental like thinking like, oh, like look at a picture, I'm like, oh, I kind of look like fat there and like things like that, even though
also
a lot of body dysmorphia will go with it.
Yeah. You and I were talking about the other day too. You were like, oh, like I think I just kind of like in my head, I was like kind of restricting myself because I had something coming up.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's kind of where you're at with this now? If you have something that you maybe want to like look extra good for, that's where your biggest struggle is now? Or
I think that would be for sure. Like especially like around like summertime and things like that. And I think I'm way healthier in my mindset that I feel like I can stop it. But of course you go into these patterns and sometimes you just need a little reset and some therapy sessions and then you get back out of it. But I would say I think that's kind of the hardest thing. It's like when there's, for me personally, when something was coming up, I always wanted to look my best. So I feel like with that, what was coming up when we talked, I feel like, you know, like I'm just gonna like maybe really work out and maybe like skip a few meals. But then you were like, fuck, you're falling back to those patterns. And then you have to like catch yourself and, you know, reset. Yeah.
And I think also like that's good that you have the awareness of that. But I think again, tackling the like even the deeper rooted is like, why am I doing this? And like building up your own self-worth and self-security, which I'm not saying it like I'm not trying to say it like I'm there, or like I know, but I'm just thinking out loud like, oh, like I think maybe if this piece of the equation gets solved or managed, then the other things would kind of like fall into place.
It's also a big control thing. I think that's what a lot of people grasp on. Like, your life can be so out of control and you might not have any way to fix it. But with this disorder, you control it. Well, I like to say it actually controls you, but like you have control over something in your life. And I think that's what people really hold on. And that's what, especially throughout my time, I always felt like, you know what? My life might be fucking a mess or something going, but I have control over that. And that's what like I hold on to.
I understand that. I think that's a core part of it probably as well. Like as humans, especially in our life, like there's so many things when you get older, you realize you don't have control over. And 100%. So you have to like figure out your own little things. Like for me, I feel like I don't have control over a lot of things. So I used to like pick at my skin really bad. And like, that's like where like a lot of my scars came from. But like, I totally get that. It's like we do these weird things that are so unhealthy just to gain control instead of sitting and getting uncomfortable with what we can't control. It's kind of weird. When was the point, because you know, you said you struggled when you were young and in high school and stuff like that, but when was the point where you were like, this is bad, like I need to do something about this? And who realized? Did your family realize? Like, what was that like?
So I definitely started when I was 16 and I kept it going till I was 24. And throughout that time, I think I realized I had an issue when I was like doing it every day. I would skip going out because I wanted to stay in to do it. I wouldn't hang out with friends. Like I would avoid people. If I had an event that I didn't love, like I would like I didn't feel good for, I would skip it and just stay home. And you know what's so funny? Like I was in it and I knew you're not supposed to make yourself like purge. Obviously I'm not dumb, but I was so far in it that like I honestly didn't care. Like I always even thought, and I got to a point where I was like, and this is where I think there's an issue, like even if I married someone, like I would still do it. And like that's crazy to think. No, like, you know, like, but things like that, I would just like, when I'm like, oh, I could do this for the rest of my life. And then I just feel like okay with it. And like when that was my only source of really like getting this high and this happiness, like that's crazy. It's such a roller coaster. So I think then is when I knew, like when I was eating nothing and just felt like I would rather do that than go out or have like a social life. And like, that's when I was like, I think there's an issue.
Did you come to that point, or did your family, like your sisters or your dad, or like?
So yeah,
it's like you said, you could have just done this your whole life. Like what did you guys have some kind of intervention?
Yeah, so I hid it very well. Literally all my life. Like there's even still like close friends that don't know the extent of it, but like my teammates had no idea about it. Like
don't look at my socks.
look
at my toes.
They're so cute. The people I lived with in college had no idea. So when I came out and told them, they were like, they kind of always thought I had like disordered eating and stuff. But for the whole bulimia thing, I think that's where like they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So how it kind of all happened was, and I will always say, and I very much will always thank my ex-partner for this, because without this, I don't think I would have ever gone to treatment. She really was the one who went to my family. She found out some things I was doing. Obviously, I was still doing it. I was lying about it.
Because you guys were like living together or something?
Yeah, we were together for 2 years at this point. And,
oh, wow. Okay.
I lied about it and I hid it from her, and a lot were our trust issues. And that's why I always say, you know what? I always praise her, because like it wasn't easy in the beginning. Imagine being with someone 2 years.
Is it ever easy in the beginning then?
Yeah, but I agree. But like, you know, like
no, I'm all for giving credit where credit's due. But I think, I mean, come on, you know,
I think
we all have our own issues.
And that's what I think I always struggle with, is like when I bring my own issues into like a relationship, because they can't really, like it's really ultimately on myself.
Of course.
So we were together for 2 years, living together. Obviously, she knew about my eating disorder, my past, but she thought I stopped. I didn't. So I was hiding it, lying to her. She found out through certain ways. She saw things on my phone, obviously, that obviously indicated that I was still binging and purging. And
like Google searches?
No, it was more like my Postmates and like Uber Eats and stuff. I made like a separate account. It sounds so wild. Like thinking about now, it sounds so wild. I would make separate accounts and she found like some of the accounts and obviously she like would like, what the fuck? You would never have ordered this. Like it was literally like so much. So anyways.
So you would eat it and then
yes,
try to get it out.
Yes.
Sure.
And I did always promise I would never do it in our apartment, which I did keep, but she thought I stopped fully.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's like being like, okay, like you do drugs if you have to, but don't do it at my house.
Yeah.
Like, okay, someone's just going to go shoot up downstairs.
No, it's not like she wanted me to do it. It was like,
of course
like,
not.
You know, like I feel like
I mean, I know, of course, nobody would want anyone to have that.
And
but
I
I'm just saying.
wanted to disrespect our relationship and our home, even though I did obviously disrespect our relationship by lying. But like, to me, that was just such a sacred place. Like, I didn't want to bring that into there.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. So, she obviously found it, and one night she called my sister, who was living in Arizona at the time, and she called my sister like bawling, crying. And my sister's like, because she was very close to my sisters, and she was like, "What is wrong? What's going on?" And she kind of explained everything, and my sister called my mom and my other sister and was like, "What the fuck? Like, I'm in Arizona, and like, how have you guys not seen these signs? Blah blah blah."
Yeah, I would feel the same way. I'd be like, "What the fuck?" Like,
and they were just like, "Well, we just thought she was doing okay, and like, she like wouldn't like, she would just like kind of say she was fine, blah blah." So we just went with it.
Yeah, you always say you're fine.
Always said I was fine. That's
she still does that, but I'm always the one where I'm like, "You're not fine. You're not fine."
I'm learning at it.
No, I mean, it's also just a part of you. That's like,
it is. I know this is me. So
I'm not trying to change you.
No,
I love.
Well, that's a part I probably should work on getting.
No, I mean, my grandma's like that. She's like, okay, so next subject. Like people just don't, I get it. I get it.
So then my sisters called my other sisters, and they all got on a call, and they said she needs to go to treatment. Like, if not, like, if we have to cut her out of life, we'll cut her out of her life. And one thing they said to my ex, they were like, I mean, we could cut her off, but you're her partner. So, like, ultimately, like, it's either you break up with her, you stay with her through this, or, like, you kind of have to get on board.
I also just don't think that leaving somebody's life or breaking up with them solves that, though. I understand the ultimatum concept and, like, what they were trying to do, but that's not going to fix anything. You're just going to feel more lonely and you're going to feel less self-worth then. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. And honestly, ultimately, the guy also knew my family wasn't going to cut me off. Like, my family loves me, like, is so close to me. So I think that I also had that in the back of my mind. And at this time, I don't know if I wanted to stop. Like, I
100%
was kind of like living I hate saying it, but it was kind of the best of life. Like, you get to eat whatever you want and stay kind of skinny. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, why do I want to get that up? But obviously,
I
comes with
totally
so much depression, lying, like anxiety. I was going to get caught. Like,
health issues.
Health issues. Oh my God, that's one of the biggest things.
Have specific health issues? Like, I know people's nails and hair.
Hair for sure. I was always cold. My feet and like hands were always freezing. I was anemic. I had obviously issues with like my gut and intestines. I kind of have like a irregular heartbeat, whatever. That's like all that kind of came from it.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky because
that's a lot.
Well, a lot, but for how long I did it and what I was doing to my body, I'm actually like, I am very lucky. Like, I know girls that had it way worse than me.
I know somebody who like their teeth, like she had to get veneers because it was so bad that literally all of her teeth.
You'd get like scars on your hands, like from the acid and just like kind of shoving. I don't know if I should probably put that on, but like
no, I mean this is real,
like your teeth, like hitting your nails and things like that. Yeah, so it was different. I don't know. So I don't know where we were at after that.
No, we were talking about the story of how you.
Oh yes. So they called me up, all of them on the phone, and they were like, "You have to go to treatment." I said, "No."
Where were you when this was happening? Like, give
I
the
actually
whole scene.
Think I was at work.
Oh my God.
When I started figuring out that
they caught
on. I knew my ex knew about it because obviously we were fighting about that, and I was obviously so apologetic, and I didn't know if she was gonna get my family involved just because like We did actually work on some things like together, and I felt like, oh, maybe we'll just do this together. But she really felt like she needed the help of my family.
Yeah. Understandably.
Yeah, because
I also think
didn't
that's
know what to do. Like, I mean,
she did the right thing.
100%. I was going to say, I will.
And if
always,
she didn't, that would be like, if she didn't contact your family, I think that would.
I mean, she was 25 and I was 24. Like, I had no idea. Or no, actually, she was a little bit older. We were a little bit. It's 2 years into a relationship, but. I mean, yeah. So I said, no, I'm not. And this is where I will always say I very much will always have such like a soft spot and like huge gratefulness and thank you to my ex, because she said, if you are not going to go to treatment, I'm breaking up with you. And I obviously was so in love with her. And I was like, she's like, please just go and like do it. And I did go, obviously. But I always say, like, that's one thing I'll always, like, appreciate her for.
I know. We have that. I don't know.
We have that. I don't know. Because, and I...
You want to take a second?
No. Because I even say it to my family all the time. I said, if it wasn't for her, like, I wouldn't have gone.
Do you think, like, something would have happened to you long term if you continued just like, the
yeah. I mean,
going?
there was no way. Like, my body could sustain what I was doing.
Yeah.
Even that up obviously when we were together than what I was doing before, but there's just no way. So the first thing after I said, I'm not going. And then the person,
leave it to Shay.
I was like,
always
no.
be stubborn.
I'm like, no, I'm not going.
Then she caves.
And then my partner gave me that ultimatum and I just didn't want to lose that and her and everything. And I said,
because that's also the root of the issue. So it's like, if you lose that, then you're losing everything.
Yeah.
So you were like, okay, I have to do this because this is also what's fueling your self-worth.
Exactly. So they told me where I was going. I was going to Renfrew Center. It's called Renfrew Center. REN. It's really
Renfrew.
At Renfrew and RENFREW, whatever.
You don't even have to share that, but
whatever. So I go to it, and the first thing when they told me the name of it, I went on Google, searched it, looked up the worst reviews, screenshotted everything. I was like, you guys want to fucking send me to here? Like, it fucking, sorry.
You were trying to do
everything to avoid it. I said, you want to send me here? Like, look at what
were the reviews?
Just like how like it didn't work for them, how like it's made their mental health worse, the therapists and all of them, like they just didn't know what they were doing, like basically just like the worst. And like I feel like you go on Yelp and Google, like everything has like the worst reviews, but obviously I just screenshot
usually if
that.
Someone's writing a review, it's
the 1 star. I'm like, fucking
it's like bad.
So they were like, please just go and try it out. So I remember sitting in that lobby with me and my ex, and I like literally was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Cause like for 7 years.
That's crazy. That's a lot.
7 years, I didn't tell anybody that I was like struggling with this. I said, what the fuck?
Why didn't you tell anyone?
I think I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
One. I think especially when people like look at how I like my persona and what I show on the internet, I feel people are like, your life is so fine. Like you seem so fun. I'm always smiling. Like, well, no, I'm not always smiling, but like when I'm always like very like I'm okay. Like I'm out. I'm having fun. Like people, I think were just really would be surprised by it, and I didn't want to get into that. I also didn't want to get into why. Like, people are like, you want to be skinny that bad, and then I'm like things like that. Like I just feel like it was.
We all have our things.
I was like embarrassed by it, and I don't know.
We all use things that probably aren't healthy for us to validate ourselves and to make, build our self-worth. I think it's just a matter of what,
Yeah.
So.
And I just don't think I really wanted the help. And I honestly, I think if I did try to get help back then, I probably would.
It would have been a waste.
Yeah, I would have fucking relapsed like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So I went.
Was this in person or inpatient or outpatient?
It was outpatient.
Okay.
I said, no, I'm not doing inpatient. They wanted me to do inpatient. I said, I'm not fucking doing that. I said, the most I'll do is outpatient. So I had to go 3 times a week for 2.5 hours each time. And throughout that, it's a lot of group therapy sessions. You have a personal therapy session every other week. And then you have your nutritionist every other week. And then you have to eat a meal there. So with everyone around you. First of all, I think a lot of people.
I feel like that's not really the issue for you. It was the after.
It was it was the feeling of like the fullness is what my issue was and what I didn't really like.
Okay.
Obviously there you have a lot of rules, and the hardest part was me. After you eat, you have to go to group therapy and you have to sit with your fullness and like describe to everyone how you're feeling. And I hated that because I'm like,
I don't think I would even want,
because then you think about it so much that you're like, oh my God, I'm so full because I just ate all this. And I know it's supposed to help. Like things like that is what I didn't really love about, like, I mean, I guess you really have to work through your emotions and stuff. But to me, I just don't think I was at a point where I wanted to talk about it. I just was like, fucking please. Like, I don't want to do that. What else? Yeah. The group therapy sessions were like, whatever. Your parents came. That one was hard, obviously.
What was that like when your parents came? Like, what did you guys talk about? At what point were you, like, how far into the treatment were you?
So I was there for 2 months, and it was, I think, about a month in, like halfway through, they brought my parents in.
Okay. Did you feel like that was enough progress for you? Or do you feel like in the beginning that didn't like really help? Like, I'm sure maybe in the beginning, I don't know how long, but I'm sure you probably went home and like, you know, made yourself throw up.
No, actually, that was one thing I said. I feel like when I had to go to to treatment, it was when it was like, okay,
the pivotal moment.
I have to stop. And luckily, I did get good. But I will say, I don't think it was from the center. And I don't know if other people agree on this to me. I feel like, honestly, it made things worse. I feel like you thought about things too much. I was thinking about food even more, especially because you have to like do food logs. So you have to write out everything you eat, like all of that.
Yeah, that's a lot. It sounds like maybe it was literally just like it coming to light.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone being like, I love you, but this is like not okay.
Exactly.
And it's not always like that for everyone. I think some people probably do need to like seriously go to treatment, but I'm sure you got some things from treatment.
Of course, I think it was, and it was actually really nice. Some of the group sessions were really nice to relate to other people, and I think some things I didn't like agree with was, obviously, I feel like one-on-one therapy would have been way more suitable and like better and kind of help you way more effective. And we only did it once every other week. I think truly that's why I feel like I am where I am today, is because I was doing therapy consistent like for the last couple of years, and I feel like got like every other week for 2 months. Like, what are you really getting the root to cause? You know,
I don't think you are.
You are, and that was my issue. And then I get how you have to eat in front of people and stuff like that. But I think the way they went about it could be really hard, because like some people would refuse to eat. So then you're in your head, if they're not gonna eat, I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Then if you don't finish your whole meal, you have to have like a boost shake or something. Like, that was the rule. You weren't like allowed to mix any of your foods. Like, you couldn't eat your like you couldn't put any like fruit in your yogurt or something like that. Because
why?
With some eating disorders,
but it tastes better that way.
I know. Who
just wants plain yogurt?
With some eating disorders, people kind of will put food together for certain reasons, and I don't want to get into those. I can tell you that later. Or like, they think it's easier to like for other reasons, like
for it to come out or something.
Yeah, like people, and then like people eat by like they also obviously watch how you eat. Like, people will eat by color.
Okay.
So when you throw it back up, you can see when you're like kind of at the end.
Oh, what
you got out.
Wow. Okay.
So like things like that. And
it's so much more intricate than I ever knew.
It's a lot, and I feel like
honestly, I'm so uneducated.
You weren't allowed to wear like sweatshirts or anything in the dining hall, because like you could hide food. You obviously got weighed every day. You got your blood pressure every day. If your blood pressure was too low, you have to like drink it. Like, it's just like all these stupid rules. Like, obviously you couldn't go to the bathroom alone. The door's always
not
open.
Stupid though.
No,
it was annoying for you.
Sorry, it was annoying for you, but you know what?
It's annoying, and it is. That stuff is really annoying. But ultimately, like, especially after what you just shared with all these little things, I think that people with eating disorders do think about.
Oh yeah.
Thank God they have these like little things, you know.
And that was only some. There's like a bunch, but yeah.
I'm sure. But wait, I just want to circle back to your parents coming and that kind of like therapy session. What was that
obviously
like?
that was like probably the hardest therapy session. My dad was blindsided by it. He was
really
a little oblivious in everything in life. AK, he didn't know I was like gay for like literally 10 years.
I mean, I don't think he's that oblivious. You're so. Well, actually, your girlfriend would come over. So yeah, a little oblivious.
So he was, and then my mom. I think the hardest thing was for my mom is she felt like she could have stopped it. Obviously, she found signs earlier on, and I would just lie and say I'm not. And she would just kind of stop there. And I asked her I could talk about this, so don't you worry. And she likes to push things under the rug, I feel like. So she kind of felt like she like could have stopped this years before, which I don't think she would have. I don't think I would have stopped. And I was lying to her face. I mean, obviously she found kind of concrete evidence, but she still kind of just let it go. But I don't know. I think they just worried about me, and they were so surprised. They thought I was, so happy. My life looked so happy. They couldn't understand the mental aspect of it. And that I think was what I really tried to get through. It's like, it's such a mental like addiction, and all you think about is food all the time. You only think about the way you look. Like every mirror you pass by, you're looking in your mirror. Like every time you see any food, you're like, oh, like I don't want to eat this. I don't like eating dinners in front of people. Like it was just, I think, so much mental stuff. They had no idea. And obviously depression comes with it. And like, I think that was just the hardest part for them to understand, is that like, it's such an addiction, and it's not something you just get over in like a day,
Yeah.
I think
also too, kind of speaking on that generation of parents, like I think we see the trend on TikTok of like almond moms. So I honestly think that generation as well, some moms were like, I don't think your mom was, but I think they were kind of like, they had their own disordered eating, and so I think that definitely probably played a role in like, are we sure, is this really what it is? Like maybe she'll grow out of it. It's tricky. There's no really book to how to be a parent.
No, there's not. And I mean, like I said, like there's nothing. My childhood wasn't so bad that I was like, oh, this is what I'm turning to. I was fortunate. I never was sexually abused or anything. And like, this is why I decided to like have my outlet be like, it was something just so mental. And then I just felt like I got such a deep hole that I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah. How did your parents react like in the therapy session? Was anything brought to light that you were happy that they were maybe able to understand, or no? Do you still feel like it was just hard for them to understand that it's such a mental illness?
I think they realized that was more serious, and that it is a more serious disease than like what they kind of thought it was. I do think they struggle.
Going to a treatment center to make things really fucking real. Like
they're like,
for them.
It is.
I mean, I didn't even know what you were talking about. I'm like, wait, what? Like I didn't know that it was that serious, and that sounds so ignorant, but I really just didn't know.
No. Once again, don't really talk about it, so it's fine.
I try to push you, though.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably the only one.
No, you are. I feel like even like some of my closest friends don't know like a lot. It's just something that I feel like I said, I get embarrassed
it's not
talking
easy.
about.
No.
And like, I don't know. It's like some details and personal shit I will never share to anyone, or just like my therapy or like really close family members. I just feel like some details and things like are just not needed. But my parents, I think, just were like, I'm their baby. They were really worried. I don't know. I think they just also didn't know what to do. Like they've never had to really deal with this, and like none of my other sisters really had to deal with this, and I think they just were like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? And like, what if this doesn't help? I think was like, what's the next step? And I think that's what they were always so scared of.
Yeah, because you hear about a lot of people, especially with addiction issues, who go to rehabs and then they come back, and it's like, I think they say something like it takes like 7 times, or maybe maybe that's a different statistic, but like, I think it is like people are like, well, what? So anyway, you go to treatment for 2 months.
Yeah.
You get out. Where are you at?
Get out. Point? I stopped bulimia, thank God. But obviously there's so much you have to do with your mental. So obviously I went to the therapy, and it's really, and the people around you really just have to have patience with you, because it's not like you get out of therapy and you're like, you get out of treatment and you're like, oh, you're 100% better. Like, obviously I'm very lucky that I stopped that one part of the eating disorder, but there's so many aspects to an eating disorder it's depression, it's the mental, obviously, it's body dysmorphia, obviously restricting is still a thing. Like,
yeah,
I think it's just something you really have to sit down and want to change. And I feel like throughout till now, I finally feel within the last year, I feel like I've really truly been like the happiest with myself. I feel the most confident. I will always say, like, I think you can still struggle mentally through like little things like that. But I think after radiation out of treatment, wasn't perfect, still had some ups and downs. I luckily never went back to being bulimic, which I think is one of the most things I'm proud of, because I feel like it would be so easy to slip back into. And but I'm not perfect.
What did you still struggle with post-treatment? So you said you stopped bulimia.
I would say restricting still, like still like not wanting like body dysmorphia. I think honestly, I will always kind of have body dysmorphia. Yeah, and
I think so too. Like the way I'm like, oh, babe, what?
It's just it's crazy. Like it's just not even like a thing. Like I just feel like I look at I don't know how to describe it. It's like I know I'm happy with myself and I love myself, but you still see it. Like I'm still like, oh my God, like I look so chubby in that. Like can't.
I actually don't think it's like even possible for you to look chubby.
I know. I'll be like Faith. I'm like, Faith, my face looks so chubby in the camera on this podcast. You're literally crazy.
Did your eating disorder at all impact your sex life?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. I definitely think you lose so much of your sex drive with it. You're also not comfortable with your body. So you're like, why do I want to get naked in front of someone? Like, I definitely think it affected my relationship a lot. Obviously, besides sex, trust issues and me dealing with the ups and downs of my emotions is really hard on someone.
Yeah.
And that's why I say whoever is with you has to be patient and willing to work through it. Like my therapist will even say to this day, like, you're not going to always ever fully get over your eating disorder. It's something you live with. It's how you can just handle it while you live with it. And I think
I totally relate to that.
Yeah. And I think for some people it's harder, and especially I don't like to ever speak on my ex-partner, but like they were lucky enough they never really had to deal with like eating disorder or body dysmorphia. They didn't understand it. And I think that was one of the hardest things, besides like obviously the past lying and like how do you like have trust with someone. It's like they just understand how can this person ever really get better, or is it always going to be like this? And I don't know.
And maybe there was like limits where it was like, okay, if she can get to this point, then I can like maybe deal with it or be better.
Yeah, but no, it definitely affects all your relationship. Affects, I feel like my family, like even when to this day when I eat around them, I feel like they're like always like looking at like what I eat or like how much I eat. Like and I think it's just habit, especially
it's totally normal because of everything that you go. They want to make sure you're okay. It's not coming, but then it's almost like the more you talk about something, the more uncomfortable.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
You know, when you're in a relationship and you're like maybe you're having sex issues, and then you like the more you talk about it, the more awkward. It's like I just don't actually want to have sex now.
No, I know.
Weird.
Yeah, and I feel like that's another reason why I don't want to talk. Like I don't talk to people about it, because like it's like.
Then it makes it more of a problem.
More of a problem. And like then you like really have to like also like hearing like the shit you do or did. I'm like,
I know.
Even now I'm like, what the fuck? Like I still can't believe some of the things, but like.
I mean, that's just where you were at. And like now you can continue to grow, continue to evolve, and like help people.
Yeah.
And like my next question was going to be, what is a message you would have if you could talk to your younger self who was doing that? What would you say to her?
I would definitely say that you don't have it under control, and literally you don't. I'd be like, Shay, you don't have this under control.
Shay, get it together.
It will ruin relationships for you. And I think I really truly wish I took therapy serious. I mean, even before I went to treatment, I did go to therapy, and I bullshitted and had like 4 different therapists. I was like, I fucking hate her. Like,
what did you do?
I would lie. I would I'm like, I'm fine. Like, no, I'm not doing, because this is the part I was still bulimic, and I was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm not doing it. Like, they don't really have any idea. And then you just like, and then it's like you're lying to yourself, and then it's like you have to
waste of time,
waste of money.
Yeah.
And then I would just be like, I can connect with them. So then I would like end that one, and then they would be like, all right, well, you have to get another therapist, and I'd be like, okay, well, I don't like this one. So I think I went to like 4 or 5 different therapists.
You just
kept going, because I was like, I mean, and then at some point they're just like, all right, just never mind. And then obviously they realized how bad it was. And then they're like, oh, send her off.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I would just say that definitely if you can have therapy, take it seriously. I truly feel like that is the only thing that has made me how I am today is because I really took therapy, and it's hard and you really have to take the time and you really have to work on it, and it's gonna suck sometimes. Like, trust me, like even as stupid as like I remember when I first got out, you had to do like fear foods, and it was like, what are foods that like is the most scary thing? And
that was gonna be my next question is what are things that you did to kind of help yourself?
Very slowly, you would do like fear foods. And I know it sounds so dumb, but like it would be like literally going out and getting like ice cream or like even like cereal. Like for some reason, like there's foods that were like very, I don't know if I should say
it's specific for person to person.
Specific or like foods that I would always like would be like my binge and purge food. Like even not now, but like throughout my like after our treatment, like I would still avoid. Like my partner knew like cereal and milk or something that's not like gonna be like in the house or like things like that, because it just reminded me so much of like my like worst times. And I know it's so stupid. And people are like, oh, cereal, like what? But like to me, I don't know why that one was like one of my go things. But obviously like just like that, or even like fries or things like that, like were so hard for me. Anything that was like a lot of calories, I feel like, and even like full meals. Like I still think to this day, and to be honest, like I don't think I'm great with eating full meals. Like I'm not eating 3 meals a day. But yeah, like I think it's just like things like that.
Yeah. What's a message you would tell somebody who's struggling with an eating disorder right now?
One, that you're not alone. So many people do deal with this, and like it doesn't matter what you look like or how your life is perceived. Like you having this disorder is valid, and you deserve to get help, and you deserve to have your voice heard and work through it. I think that's what I thought. I was like, well, there's people way worse off than me, or like has gone through way harder things than I have. Like no one cares about this like white girl that like fucking thinks she's not skinny enough, you know?
Yeah.
I just like thinking like that. I'm like, and I also hate when people like look at me like a victim. So I always am like, I don't like to share those parts. Yeah. But they are valid, and they should, and you should go get help. And
no, I think that
you can get through it.
A really hard thing. And you know, we all have our own issues. Like even hearing you talk about certain things, like I was like, wow, like I understand some of that in a sense. And I think mental illness, this is horrible for me to say, but to be honest with you, mental illness was something I always just thought was like in your head and like some like just weird thing until it's thrown in your face, and like then you have to face it and you're like, wow, this is a chronic thing. Yeah. Like this is like having like arthritis, but like in your brain, so people can't see it. Like there is an injury somewhere in your brain that you're trying to heal or like trying to navigate. And I think it's the same thing with, you know, the mental aspect of eating disorders. It's like, no, it's something like you will be navigating and figuring out forever. Like it's tough.
Yeah. And I think also you're only gonna get better when you're ready to get better. Like if someone's forcing you into it, like,
well, it obviously worked for you.
For me, it did. Really, I will say. Well, I always say if my family forced me into it, I would have been like, no. But I was very lucky with my partner that was the main push. Yeah. But definitely just do it when you're ready. Take it seriously. Like really try to find a therapist that like you love and can really relate to and be open with, because like you lying to a therapist, like I don't know. I was like, oh, when is this gonna help? Absolutely,
a lot of people do it.
I know, and I think I was just like also like embarrassed to talk to my therapist about it, and they're like so crazy, like
so normal.
They're like, wait, why? And I'm like, I talked to my therapist now, and she's like, why would you care? Like a therapist like isn't supposed to judge you. I'm like, but I feel like they would judge you because they're still a person. Exactly.
100%. Yeah, I totally get it. I've definitely struggled with that too, of like withholding information because I'm afraid, but I'm like. Then I had a breakdown at one point, and I was like, honestly, I've hit a lot and I can't do that because this is not helping me. And like, I say this to her all the time, but I'm like, you have a responsibility, especially as an adult, to show up and be the best human you can be in every aspect of your life. And like, you know, if you're not doing that, you're not taking therapy seriously, like
Yeah.
you need to reevaluate things.
Yeah.
Because how are you showing up in other areas of your life?
Exactly.
Then?
Exactly. I totally agree with that.
Where do you hope to, you know, get with your disorder in like 5 years or something like that? Like, what's your goal?
I think it's just being really comfortable with like my relationship with food. I think it's still something I can struggle with, and just like keep having confidence in myself and like know that I am like worthy and like my self-worth. And I think I'm getting there, but you know, there's always like that doubt or like insecurities. Like I'm not gonna be here being perfect and be like, oh my God, I love everything about myself. Like I'm just will never be like that. Yeah. But I think it's really just having a better relationship with food, and also realizing, and it's very hard to say this, but like the way you look is not always everything. Like it's like you still need to be a good person, have a good heart, have like a good personality, like be sweet and kind and like
100%.
And I also feel like
somebody who has cancer,
I know,
unfortunately, is a perfect example of that. Yeah. Like you're stripped of all of that. Your hair, you know, like it's not everything. No. You're a good person, and like that's really what matters.
Exactly. But yeah, I just hope to keep always working myself, and I think just really finding that love for yourself, and just realize that like I said, you're worthy.
Yeah. How do you feel like you're like doing that now?
Obviously therapy. I really think it's finding the root causes to why you feel this way. And also I feel like I got to the point in the last year where like I don't really care as much what people think of me. Yeah. Like I do, but like I don't, you know.
It's more of a you thing.
It's more of a me thing. And I 100%. Feel like for the longest time I cared so much what other people thought about me or how they perceived me, or I have to look a certain way for someone so to make them happy, so then I'm happy. Like life, like it's your own fucking life. Like you have to realize that, and like everything you do should be for yourself. And I think that's how I'm trying to rock.
No, I think that's great, and thank you for opening up about this, because I kind of, you know, asked you if this is something you'd want to do. No, I know it's deep, and I know it was uncomfortable, and I know that that's big for you too. So I'm proud of you. Yeah. No. Well, do you want to talk about anything else or talk about something light?
I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, we can go to a light.
Oh, wait. Also, just touching really quick on the eating disorder stuff, I wrote down what you resist persists. So like the more, it's with anything in life, but especially the more I think that you pushed this away and were defiant, it probably just showed up so much more in your life. Yeah. But anyway, lighthearted stuff.
Yeah, lighthearted.
Have you ever seen Below Her Mouth?
Like the gay movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, babe.
That's
like what's the blue one?
Oh, I don't like that.
What was it called? That was like the first gay movie.
Like, it wasn't good, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. But Below Her Mouth, hot.
I know the one girl was so hot.
Both of them are so hot to me. I dream threesome.
Also, is your dream threesome? I'm
well, no, I'm sure there's
wait, what
better.
Is your dream threesome? Actually, let's.
Yeah, wait. That's gonna be my question. I'll put in the stories because I'm curious.
I know. I'm trying. Wait, I have one.
Oh, what is it?
Well, no, I have like one person. I have to like.
You have one person. I know, Billie Eilish.
Well, duh. But who would? I'm trying to think who my other one would be.
I don't know.
Probably like Megan Fox in her prime.
She's hot.
Or Pam Anderson in her prime.
I'm not attracted to her, but she's hot. Oh, I got so much hate for the Kehlani thing. I think she's gorgeous and hot. I'm just not physically attracted to her, and like that's okay.
Kehlani and Billy in bed. Well,
is that your dream
threesome? A threesome would be kind of crazy. Like I don't know who would like top that. Like who would be on the top? I don't know. That's a lot of like power energy. I kind of would love to try that.
Okay. Have you ever heard of anyone like running out of Q-tips? Like I feel like people have Q-tip boxes like in their house forever. Like
honestly, no. And it is true. Like I feel like my Q-tip box like, lasts forever, and I do it after every shower
for like a year. Yeah, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Where are they going?
I know.
That's another weird thing. Also, I discovered I was like,
as you can tell, Faithlin just writes like bullet points in her notes throughout the week. And,
no, I
like
do.
They make no sense half the time.
No, they don't. No, they well, my notes make no sense. Okay, so I have a couple. Oh, do you want to go?
No, you go.
Another thing, I think the whole fucking everything but the bagel seasoning shit is so weird. I'm like, why are we putting bagel shit on everything? Like, if I'm getting a fucking
so good.
No, but it's weird. Like, if I'm having an everything bagel, I'm getting that because I'm getting like bagels and lox. Like, I don't need to put this bagel shit on like fucking everything. Everything. People do that. I'm like, it's weird. It's good, but it's weird, I think.
But think about it. It's really just salt, pepper, and like poppy seeds and onion. Like,
yeah, that's true. But I just think of, I'm like, I'm eating a fucking bagel and everything, like, not necessary.
I do love it.
Also, I don't know if you're gonna
Oh god.
I don't know if you're gonna understand this, but my new like little thing I'm saying is I'm California sober, I'm Mexican
So
sober,
you're-
and I'm Italian sober.
Mexicans, so no tequila?
No, so like people when they're like, oh, I'm California sober, it means they only smoke weed.
Yeah.
But like I smoke weed, I really like mezcal, and then I like wine.
Oh, so this is what you do. Wait, what was your last one?
No, I knew
Italy?
you wouldn't understand.
I get it because I get California.
I was Italian.
Interesting.
And then my other thing was I like women, weed, and wine. I was like, that should be on a shirt. Oh wait, did I say that last week though?
No, I don't. I think you said. I don't know if you said it last week or you said it to me on
something
the
else.
phone, and I was like, oh,
Okay, whatever.
Mine is. And we were just talking about this when we get coffee. I hate people that drink black coffee and make it their personality. Like, you are not better than me because you drink black coffee. Also, it actually tastes like fucking shit. So I don't know why you think that's good. Like,
Yeah, like, are you like elite because you drink like
No,
black
literally.
coffee? Like, maybe put a little cream in there, you'll smile more.
I know.
Like,
Maybe
fuck.
get a little fucking crazy. Put a little syrup in
Put a little whipped cream.
Put a little French vanilla in there. I'm like,
Yeah, like
cool.
switch it up, you boring
Switch it
bitch.
up, boring. I feel like whoever, like girls that like black coffee especially are just so fucking boring and need to get fucked or something because they are just boring.
Girls who like black coffee need to get fucked. That's crazy. Also, something else that's like really kind of sus to me is Antarctica. I'm like, what actually goes on there? That just gives such weirdo vibes.
That is kind of weird. It is true. Well, I don't think a lot of people live there. I think it's like all like
scientists, but I'm
polar
like,
bears.
why?
Weirdly, that's so funny you said that because I'm watching the show Atypical on Netflix and the guy's like obsessed with penguins in Antarctica and he wants to go there.
Sounds like
And
me.
anyone, I literally posted on my story yesterday, anyone that watches the show, if anyone in that family thought that sister wasn't gay, like, are you blind? That girl gave off the most gay vibes I've ever fucking seen.
Oh my god. Also,
She has a hot voice though, I'll give her that.
the other thing you and I have talked about a couple times, I'm like, you know that kid growing up that like always got a fucking bloody nose? Like, I'm like, where are they now? Like, there's always
Where
one kid-
are they now?
Yeah.
Also, where's the scientific facts behind that? Like,
Yeah,
why
I'm
do they
very
always
curious.
have bloody nose?
I
And
don't
like, do they do
understand
that as adults? Like, I don't know.
I know. I'm like, there's always one kid in like everyone's class
I
or
would
grade
love
that like
it though, because it was
constantly
like
got a bloody
interrupt the
nose.
class. I'm like,
I know. I'm like, thank God. But I'm like, why is this happening? Like, are you okay?
and it's always nose back. Hold it, squeeze it. I never got a nose.
I've never.
I got hit with a basketball. I almost thought I broke her, but she stayed fine.
Also, I think you're going to relate to this a lot. So this is about my ex. I remember there was one time my ex came home and was like, oh, like this girl I met, like you guys would be such good friends. Like you guys have like so much to relate on. I'm thinking, okay, bro, like whatever. Now they're dating. So if any one of your partners comes home and fucking says that to you, just know they want to fuck them. Like
Literally.
they you don't need to be friends with anyone. You have your own friends, babe. Like they are
You guys,
fucking
we're
assholes.
2 for 2 because I had the experience where they came home and was like, "This girl is literally you.
love them.
You would love her. She's you. Like she's like,
I'm like, so do
the
you love
same
her?
hair, the same style, works in fashion. Like she's literally you." I'm like, okay, what happens later? Oh, they fuck. Oh, crazy.
Tomato.
And I do not see the similarities. So if you know, you know, and everyone
Yeah,
agrees.
me
There's
neither.
no-
I'm like, matter of fact, if I'm similar to that bitch, like I'm offended.
No
okay,
way.
like, sorry. I'm like,
I have one more ick, and then we can wrap it the fuck up.
oh, Gord.
I can't get with Golden Goose sneakers. Like, I don't care if it makes you look like you are a billionaire. I don't care. They are so fucking ugly. Like, and people that wear them literally think they're like better than other people. Add it to people with
I
that drink
actually
black
like
coffee.
I like the way they look. I wouldn't wear them though because I tried them on and they hurt my feet. They're like so flat.
You
It's like,
guys,
okay,
you guys. She's.
I'm not doing it.
Please cancel it
I
for
know,
that because
right?
what? No. And the other thing is, I also have like bigger feet, so they don't even look at me. But like, I don't.
They're too narrow.
Oh wait, no.
Right?
No, those have never even been put on my feet because I think they're so gross. I've never ever once been like, let me just try those on. No.
All right.
Ballet flats. As shoes. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't think they're hot. They're not sexy. I don't think they make any.
They're not
look
for
better.
you. That's for fucking sure.
Like, can you imagine?
No,
you know
you're
what?
too like haughty for that. I think you're not.
I actually have
soft
seen
like
ones
that.
with heels and they kind of were vibey, but
Yeah,
that was it. And they had the lace up. That would be the only kind. But the actual ones, I'm like, those are
like,
so
I'm
ugly.
gonna go home and buy them.
But you know what's funny, real quick, with ballet shoes? So my friend Soraya, obviously she's my height. I'm like, why are her feet are like fucking size 8s? I'm like, why are your feet so small? She said because she was a ballet for like ballerina for so long, and from the ballet shoes, like her feet like shrunk. I said, should I start be wearing those every day when my feet get smaller?
No, you psycho. This is the same thing with an eating disorder. You're gonna have a foot disorder now.
Oh my God, but no, it's not even that. I just wish my feet were smaller because like I could fit into better, more shoes.
Sometimes
you're just lucky you get to fit. She gets to fit in kids' shoes and like saves like half the money. It's such bullshit.
I know, you're right. I would switch feet with you though if it made you happy.
Oh my! I would look wild with your size feet with my.
I would look wild with your size.
These flippers on you.
There was one last thing I had to say, but now I can't remember it, so maybe it wasn't important.
I'm just. So
oh my God!
would wear Golden Goose sneakers.
No, I didn't buy them. But
I would.
Holidays are so weird after like getting out of a serious relationship because all I think about is how my ex is going to like kiki with this other person's family and like.
But you have to realize,
do the same shit that you did with me.
But we already know. We both know. Like our families, like no one's can top our family. Like our family parties, no one's gonna top.
No,
I already know that.
I know, right?
I think my ex would actually probably agree with me. They would. My parties, we get rowdy.
Yeah.
Rowdy.
I'm just like kind of weird.
It was kind of weird.
Kind of weird, you guys.
Also, wait, what do you not think it's really weird?
What?
I might cut this out.
No, don't. Let's keep it.
You like your ex new like partner is wearing the stuff that you bought your ex. I'm like,
well, to be fair, my ex got me things that I wear, so I can't say that.
No, that would be like whoever you're dating is wearing it.
Oh, that's fucking weird as
all the
shit.
time.
What do you mean? That bitch was in my house using shit that I made. Are you kidding me?
But I always find it so weird. I'm like, I wonder if they know that I bought them that because also someone had to help someone's style.
Matter of fact, if I find out you're wearing or touching my shit, we're gonna have another problem. Like, let's fucking, I cannot do that.
Sent to.
I have been trying to get
back
my shit sent back from my ex, but I think she just wants to control everything. So that being said,
thank you guys for a little yap session, and we will see you next week. And we love you. And cancel Faithlin for Golden Goose sneakers. Bye.